Indeed, and the hashtag is morning at NTV on Twitter. You can also follow at Chris Higenya to be part of some of the conversations as we inch further today. Now, we are going into a business update segment. We are going to be speaking merging roles in finance in the new era. Just to give you a preamble, even before the economic season, some organizations had started to consolidate their senior leadership teams by expanding the role of the Chief Financial Officer to include the responsibilities of the Chief Operations or Chief of Information. This greatly saves on expenses from salaries to office space, but companies may find that this move is much more than a cost saver. A CFO's experience and insight can transform a company's ability to maximize technology, streamline complex processes, and also make wise financial or technological decisions. The conversation follows the 6th edition of the CFO Awards in Uganda that were held a few weeks ago. Now, who is here to give us what we need to know in terms of insight and perspective on this particular issue? Andrew Ssekamwa, the Chief Finance Officer at I&M Bank. The award winner himself, I'm told, is here to talk about it. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you, Chris.
When you came in, and I was told you're the Chief Financial Officer at I&M Bank, there was a rush of confidence and, well, the belief that things are going to be okay. I'm now learning you won the award as Chief Financial Officer in the just recently concluded CFO Awards. Tell us about that.
Well, it was quite an exciting moment because then you get to reflect on the efforts and time that you've put in to ensure that you elevate your organization to the next level.
That's right.
But then also as a young professional, being able to demonstrate some of the key attributes of a professional accountant that we have, and being able then to inspire the younger generation that is coming up. So there were 2 awards, Young CFO and Strategy Execution Award, which I feel have driven a mileage, not only for the young people, but also for the organization.
That's right.
Yeah, so it was quite an exciting
strategy execution
yes.
award.
Yes.
Interesting there. Strategy seems to be something that many organizations in Africa and Uganda in particular seem to grapple with.
Yes.
What is the best possible strategy, especially right now that the economy itself seems to be upside down? Human resource management is a bit of a challenge, and worker retention alone is a nightmare.
Yeah. So, well, when you talk of strategy, especially in the current times, like you're saying, they are quite disruptive. We have the macroeconomic variables going to different directions, but then you also have disruptions from the global economy. So we look at it from thinking global, but executing locally. So as a CFO and as a center or a locus in your organization, what is key is, one, are you collaborating across the different units? So you talked about human capital and harnessing that talent. So are you able to support and grow this talent through? 2, are you able to ensure that with the disruptions, the organization remains agile? So even as you're planning, you're thinking long term. Like I mentioned, executing local but thinking global. So have you been able to preempt some of these events that are happening at the world stage? And how have you set up your organization to adapt and respond in a timely manner to them proactively? So I feel those are the best, or that's the best way to respond to such an environment, thinking strategically as an organization.
And then there is the wave of merging the Chief Financial Officer role with the Chief Information Officer. Something that many companies across the globe are doing. I don't know the relationship, how tight it must be or ought to be, but what's your take on that?
So over time, we've seen the role of the CFO evolve. Before, you had it merged with the COO because they felt once you get the CFO into the operations, then it's easy to harness cost, to bring costs down, and also ensure the operations are working smoothly. Well, with the emergence of big data and analytical capabilities, that's where the talk has started around merging both the role of the CFO and the CIO. What we've seen before is that the CIO usually carries a big budget because we're having a lot of technology changes in the market. However, then the CFO has an island which cuts across the entire bank, and that's around harnessing value. So you have the CIO thinking big picture from a technology perspective, but then the CFO being able to create or harness value from that technology. So I think we may not necessarily have to merge the roles, but also see how that collaboration comes up much stronger between the CIO and the CFO, but also from a margin perspective, it calls for the CFO to be at least more technologically astute. So being able then to deliver on the aspects of the CIO role.
That's right. Within the talk of cost saving, especially in the banking industry, it could make perfect sense, no doubt. But when we encounter chief financial officers in other sectors, these are guys who are always looking at cost and saving. So much so that we believe that they do not understand talent and how much perhaps talent should be given in order to maximize profits. Should the cost imperative be the driving factor for any strategy?
So the cost topic has been around for a long time, and it's usually the first point that most people will look at. But I'll think of it differently, because you need to think long term. Yeah, we've just gone through a wave of the pandemic of COVID-19.
That's right.
I mean, we saw a lot of restructures, companies bringing down headcount just to manage cost. But have they thought about now the reemergence from it? So how are you reemerging? Have you reorganized yourself, you know, to be able to play or compete at the next level? So I don't think cost is an element of yes, it's an element to consider, but I don't think it's the only one to consider. You need to think long term. Have you reorganized your organization to play in the next era or in the next environment or business environment that we are working in? So I don't think cost is the only thing. You need to look at the disruptions that are happening, especially from a technological perspective. In your area, for example, you've talked outside the banking sector. We've had fintechs that have come in, yes, participating in the payment space, but also seeing them harnessing value for the day-to-day individual. So how are you able to tap into that to see how agile is your business and how is it able to adapt and then be able to operate at the next level? So cost is not only the discussion, but also you should be able to preempt what are the emerging events that are
there was an adage that used to frequent the timelines on Twitter and Facebook a while back, a conversation between the chief executive officer and the chief financial officer. So they were asking, what do we do with talent? The chief financial officer thinks they should not train more, as in well put funds to training, and the CEO is wondering, if we don't train them and then we retain them, what will be the case? You know, what do you make of that?
Very, very interesting. And like any other CFO, or the first thing would be looking at the bin, counting the bins, which would be cost. But you know, at the end of the day, if you train, you're contributing to a bigger pool of talent in the market that you as an organization can still tap into. So my view is actually go ahead and train. We keep saying it, we do invest, and then companies do take up the resources, but the bigger picture is that you're contributing to a wider talent pool within the market, which you can still tap into.
All right, as we enter the final bend, let's focus on repetitive tasks of accounting, offering more accuracy and freeing up the accounts team's time to focus on planning and analysis. How is that arrived at?
So we are in a phase that we've seen a lot of automation happening. So we have a lot of artificial intelligence come to play, which actually will take up the repetitive tasks. Looking at things like reporting, double entry, accounting, all that will be taken up by the machines through machine learning. However, as a CFO into the new era, it's more around planning and being proactive and how you can direct your organization to the next performance level. So deriving insights into the business on the next performance level, forecasting trends, not waiting for events to happen, but preempting them and ensuring that you provide the requisite advisory to the business. So that's very, very important. So automation will take away the repetitive tasks, but then the insights and the ability to plan ahead and preempt the next performance level of your organization is very, very important.
Hearing you speak of that kind of reveals a threat to the profession by tech. How are you going to deal with that?
I think it's about reinventing yourself. You know, you need to think disruption.
AI is taking over.
You need to think disruption. So AI is taking over, but it's taking over the repetitive tasks. But you as an individual have to think insight. How do I preempt the next performance level, which probably AI may not be able to do? How do I sit down with my business teams or with my colleagues and identify the next areas of growth, the next profit levels, the areas of risk, and how do you then simulate such scenarios to ensure that you're ready for the next level? So I feel yes, AI is coming in, but it's an advantage to free up the CFO, to your point,
that's right,
and be able to provide advisory and insights for the next performance level.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Andrew Ssekamwa, many thanks for the insight and perspective on the new era of finance and just how about many of the accountants out there and those that are within the finance profession do their work best. That will do it for now, but do stay with us if you can. We are coming up with a Kickstarter discussion where we shall be tackling the growing threat of insecurity and the attacks on police.